Hey everyone, welcome to the Journey into Insight, your favorite channel. Your brain does not suddenly become noisy. It learns noise slowly, over time. It learns it from responsibility, from pressure, from trying to do things right. One thought appears, then another connects to it, then another follows. Each thought feels important. Each one demands attention. Before you realize it, your mind feels full, not because it is weak, but because it is active. Overthinking does not feel like confusion. It feels like duty. Many people who overthink believe their mind is their strongest tool. Often they are right. These are people who analyze deeply, who notice patterns, who try to understand life instead of escaping it. They replay moments, not to suffer, but to learn. They imagine futures, not to panic, but to prepare. But when thinking never settles, even the strongest mind begins to feel heavy. Overthinking slowly removes clarity. Thoughts pile up without structure. Decisions feel harder than they should. Even simple choices require effort. The brain stays busy, but direction is lost. This is not because intelligence is missing, it is because intelligence is running without guidance. What if clarity is not something you wait for, but something you train? What if the brain needs structure the same way muscles need form? Modern neuroscience now confirms something powerful. Thinking patterns physically reshape the brain. The way you think today changes how you will think tomorrow. From a future-focused view of brain science, overthinking is not a disorder. It is a brain designed for survival placed inside a world of endless information. The human brain evolved to solve short-term problems. Today, it faces long-term uncertainty with no clear ending. Without training, the brain keeps everything open, just in case. Inside the brain, overthinking activates several systems at once. Memory recalls past experiences. Prediction systems imagine future outcomes. Emotional centers scan for threat or regret. Attention struggles to decide what matters most. None of this is broken. The brain is simply multitasking without rest. Neuroscience shows that stress does not come from thinking itself. It comes from unfinished thinking. When thoughts have no conclusion, neural circuits stay active. Energy drains. Stress chemicals increase. Over time, the brain associates constant thinking with safety. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for reasoning and decision-making, becomes overloaded during chronic overthinking. When this happens, the brain shifts control to emotional and habitual circuits. This is why people understand situations logically but still feel mentally stuck. The brain is not failing. It is conserving energy. Neuroplasticity changes everything here. The brain is not fixed. It rewires itself based on repeated behavior. Each time you react to a thought the same way, that pathway strengthens. Each time you respond differently, new wiring forms. Clarity is not discovered, it is built. Memory plays a powerful role in overthinking. The brain does not store experiences like recordings. It stores fragments, emotions, and meanings. Overthinking happens when emotional fragments replay without resolution. The brain remembers how something felt, but not what it taught. Future neuroscience suggests wisdom develops when memories are compressed into meaning. Instead of replaying emotional details, the brain extracts lessons. Mental weight decreases. Space opens. This is why wiser minds think less but understand more. Processing speed also matters. Some brains analyze very fast but never pause. Others reflect deeply but delay action. Research shows clarity emerges when analysis is followed by slowing down. Insight often appears after thinking relaxes, not while it accelerates. You see this pattern in education. Students who study continuously feel busy but forget quickly. Students who pause to explain ideas in simple language retain more. The pause allows the brain to organize information into understanding. In social life, overthinking often comes from fear of judgment. The brain replays conversations, tone, expressions, searching for mistakes. But studies show people who reflect briefly and then disengage feel calmer and more confident. Their brains close the loop. At work, the same pattern appears. Employees who replay meetings and emails burn out faster. Those who summarize decisions and move forward stay clearer. The difference is not workload, it is mental closure. Nature teaches this clearly. Every system works in cycles. Activity is followed by rest. Growth happens during recovery. The brain follows the same rule. Without rest, clarity collapses into noise. Technology disrupts this rhythm. Notifications interrupt thoughts before completion. Social media delivers emotional input without resolution. The brain stays reactive. Future neuroscience predicts attention management will become one of the most important mental skills of modern life. Interestingly, clarity often increases with age. Brain scans show older adults use fewer but stronger neural connections. They focus on meaning rather than detail. This is not decline, it is efficiency. Wisdom is the brain learning what to ignore. Training the brain toward clarity does not mean forcing silence. It means giving thoughts a place to land. One of the simplest and most effective tools is externalizing thinking. When you write a thought down, you move it from emotional circuits into structured processing areas. The brain relaxes because the thought is no longer floating. It is stored safely. This is why writing feels relieving even when no solution appears. The brain is not searching anymore. It knows the thought is contained. Over time, this practice reduces mental repetition and emotional overload. Future neuroscience suggests external memory tools will become central to mental health and cognitive clarity. Another powerful tool is intentional pause. When a thought feels urgent, pause for a few seconds before reacting. This activates control networks in the brain. Urgency often fades when the brain realizes there is no immediate threat. With repetition, the brain learns discernment instead of panic. Breathing plays a direct role in thinking quality. Slow, steady breathing signals safety to the nervous system. Stress chemicals decrease. Clarity increases. This is not symbolic or spiritual, it is biological. A calm body allows the brain to process efficiently. Memory reframing is another key skill. Instead of replaying what went wrong, ask what was learned. This simple question changes how experiences are stored. The brain shifts from emotional replay to insight storage. Over time, memories feel lighter and more useful. Limiting input is also a form of brain training. The brain cannot think clearly while consuming endlessly. Fewer sources and deeper focus restore attention. Clarity grows when stimulation is reduced and meaning is prioritized. Future research suggests attention will become a trained skill, much like physical fitness. In a world of constant information, the ability to choose where attention goes will define mental strength. Scheduling thinking time is equally important. Let the brain know when it is allowed to analyze and when it can rest completely. This boundary teaches efficiency. Thoughts become sharper, shorter, and more purposeful. Rest is not laziness, it is neurological maintenance. During rest, the brain integrates information, strengthens learning, and clears noise. Clarity often appears after rest, not during effort. Overthinking does not disappear overnight. It softens gradually. The brain learns through repetition, not force. Each small change builds a new pattern. Over time, thinking becomes quieter. Not because thoughts vanish, but because they organize themselves. From a future thought perspective, clarity is not the absence of thought. It is intelligent direction. It is knowing which thoughts deserve energy and which do not. This is the brain operating at a higher level, not a quieter one. Wisdom emerges when thinking serves life instead of controlling it. When the brain stops reacting to every signal and starts choosing responses, mental freedom appears naturally. Overthinking once felt like protection. With training, clarity becomes protection. The mind learns that not every thought is urgent, not every fear is real, and not every possibility needs attention. When you train your brain like an expert, thinking becomes a tool instead of a burden. Confusion turns into curiosity, noise turns into insight, and the mind, once crowded, becomes a place where understanding can finally settle. The future of brain science is not about thinking more, but thinking better. Researchers are beginning to understand that clarity is a form of efficiency. A clear brain does not waste energy chasing every signal. It conserves strength for what truly matters. This is why people with clarity often appear calm, not because life is easier for them, but because their brains are selective. In everyday life, you can see this in people who handle pressure well. They are not emotionless, they feel deeply, but their brains do not panic at every possibility. They allow uncertainty to exist without trying to solve it immediately. This tolerance for uncertainty is now considered a marker of advanced cognitive control. Overthinking tries to eliminate uncertainty. Clarity learns to live with it. The brain slowly understands that not every question needs an answer right now. Some answers emerge only when the mind stops forcing them. This shift changes how the brain allocates attention and energy. Future neuroscience suggests that wisdom is not stored in a single brain region. It emerges from cooperation between memory, emotion, and reasoning. When these systems communicate efficiently, thinking becomes smoother. Emotional reactions soften. Decisions feel lighter. This is why clarity often feels like relief. The brain is no longer fighting itself. It is no longer running every system at full power. It is choosing balance. Over time, trained clarity changes identity. You stop defining yourself as someone who overthinks and start experiencing yourself as someone who understands. Thoughts still appear, but they no longer control you. They inform you. The goal is not a silent mind. The goal is a useful mind. A mind that can think deeply when needed and rest fully when it is not. This balance is not accidental, it is learned. When you train your brain like an expert, overthinking becomes raw material for insight. The same mind that once overwhelmed you becomes your greatest advantage. And clarity, once rare, becomes your normal state.